शब्द बिना सारा जग अंधा, काटे कौन मुँह का फंदा। शब्द बिना सारा जग अंधा, काटे कौन मुँह का फंदा। शब्द बिना बिरथा सब तंदा, शब्द बिना बिरथा सब तंदा। शब्द बिना जीव बंधन बंधा, शब्द बिना जीव बंधन बंधा।
Welcome seekers to today's spiritual satsang, titled Effects of Fang Sheng on Karma. I have with me East Asia's main speaker, who is an advanced disciple of a perfect living master. Okay, so let's begin this subject of Fang Sheng. This, I believe, is a Chinese word. Fang Sheng is actually the practice of releasing animals on the basis of compassion. And this compassionate act of releasing animals in captivity will cleanse one's sins and bring good karma. So, main speaker, this practice, which is predominantly more popular in the Asian culture and Asian countries, what is your take on the act of Fang Sheng?
Yeah. So it's really like a big part of Oriental Buddhism culture, like Theravada Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, Vajrayana Buddhism, and some of the Hindu, right, in this region. Actually, there was a story written in Mahayana Buddhism scripture. Let me tell you first why they're doing this, right? So in the scripture, they said there's a son of a merchant, right? Son of very big seller in one town in India. His name is Shalat Vahana, right? Shalat mean water. Vahana or Pahana mean vehicle. You know, why people call him this? Because of this story. So one day, he was gonna sell things, right? Because his family have connection in different towns to do selling and buying. So he had to travel a lot across the state. So he traveled across one forest. And at that time, it's very like drought time, like the rain not falling for many months. I guess it's like an Indian summer, right? So he saw one pond start to dry up, and there are many fishes inside there struggle, you know, and soon the water gonna dry up. So he looked at all the fishes and feel sorry for them. And because he have a compassionate heart, then he approached them, he looked around, and he discovered that there are many birds standing there waiting, you know, for the water completely go off. So they're gonna go and, you know, finish the fish. And on the other side, there are foxes as well, waiting, you know, for the fish to, you know, to dry up. So this man, he feels sorry for all the fishes, and he just thinks, oh, let me do something to help. So he goes inside the forest. He cut some very tall grass and the glass looked like a small bamboo, but it's very tall glass. So he cut a lot of those, and he put as the shelter for the fish, and hoping that the sun will be less powerful on the water surface, so the water not dry up quickly. But as he observed, it's not gonna help. They're not gonna last long time. So he's just thinking to himself, I should seek help. So he go back to the town. He asked the king to borrow an elephant. And the king just asked, why you want to borrow my elephant? He said, sir, I have a very big jar, and I found that there are fishes that have problems and about to die in the forest, and I would like to borrow your elephant to brought this big jar of water to the forest, so I can pour the water in the pond and help the fish. So the king agreed for him to do that. And then after that, he went back to the forest and start to pour the water, and they make like many trips to go there, and and start to build like a small pond. So in the end, he was able to help all the fishes. So the king praised him very highly. So that's why that's the famous story that written in Mahayana. Because in Mahayana, they believe in compassionate. The teaching is very much on compassion and love and Bodhisattva quality. So that's why this creates the animal release culture in China mainly. So after that, the temple in China, they start to build pond. According to the scripture, they build pond for the people to come and release the animal. And mainly are fishes, turtles, what else? Birds.
Birds, yep.
And so on, right? Yesterday, there is one Chinese sister, the follower of our channel, our video. She just asked, please, can you make a comment on this culture? I want to know what is actually happened, because she said one of her friends go to the temple every day to do this. And then she just really want to know, is that really beneficial? Because there is a saying that, helping somebody's life is better than building 7-story pagoda. There's a say like that. So now, our culture nowadays, from what I see in Thailand particularly, they are now seller in the temple near the pond, right next to the pond. They are seller that they brought fishes, birds, turtles, eel, and so on. Even frog, fish, fresh water snail. And on this, on the each plastic box, right, that they place there, they will say like how beneficial, what you actually get if you release this particular animal. Yeah. For example, turtles, they said like, okay, longevity. Yeah. If you release this, you will get longevity, right? If you release fishes, you will be prosperous, let's say. So that's a concept on each box of animal. And of course, animal keep in, the poor box, right? Without anything, it's just water, right? And when I see that, I feel sorry for them. I feel that, they should not actually doing this, right? Because the culture is that we have to help somebody in need, right? We have to have compassion of somebody that actually like need help and in critical situation, not just doing for the sake of it and thinking like a business transaction, right? Like, okay, you release certain animal, then you get longevity, you get prosperous, you become more wealthy, you become more healthy. It should not be like that. Because as a monk in Thailand, he actually complained on social media. He said that I saw that people start doing that in the Thai temple. And I think that that's not good. Yeah, the monk said. And he even approached all the sellers. He said, can you stop doing this, right? This is not right. This is not right to encourage this pop culture. This is not part of religious. This is not what Buddha had been taught. But the seller just, anti the monk and said, no, we cannot stop. This is our livelihood, right? We earn from this. Yeah, this is the family business, right? We can't back up. Because of these problem in the monastery, in the temple nowadays, especially the popular temple, they have like on-site, like making merit service, right? So people start to question in my society, like, okay, if you do animal release nowadays, and encourage those kind of business in the temple. Is that right thing to do? Some say like for example birds, right? In order to get a big number of birds, they have to build a trap somewhere in nature. Yeah, to catch those birds. And birds, they are quite territorial. Right? So if you take them away from their habitat, and try to release them on the temple ground, firstly, is that food for them? Is that a suitable place for them to stay? What about their family, right? Their children, their mate? Because some kind of bird, especially big one, right? Like dove, they mate for life. And if you taking away, for example, female one, the male one will die eventually, and all the children in the nest, they also will die as well. So like you just kill the whole family.
Yeah.
Right, because they just have that kind of, like broken heart. And also some kind of bird, even they're not like honest with their couple like that. But if you take them away from their habitat and being in captivity for some time, they become weak, right? They are shocked. So when after you release, they might not survive.
Yep.
So that's the bird. Next one, fishes, right? Nowadays, because those sellers who sell in the temple, they mostly have their own fish farm. So they sell the baby one, right, to the tourists who visit the temple, for the people to have like convenient access. to these fishes. But there are also criticism about these. They said some kind of fish are from river, like suitable to live in the river.
Yeah.
Some suitable to live in a pond, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some are even like GMO fish, right?
Yes.
They're not native. They're just made for commercial. They just, completely grow in the farm. And let's say for human to eat, they're not suitable to be in the nature. In Thailand, we have one particular kind of catfish that they mix the DNA from the local catfish with African catfish. So they said that if you release these in the river, in the lake, in the wild, these particular catfish will grow very big. Sometimes it's the size of a children. Sometimes it can grow up to 50 kilogram fish. Yeah. And it eats like 500 kilogram a day. And it's, it's also like a carnivore. So it will finish all of those like small species in the nature because it's quite strong. It's not native. It's quite like aggressive, right? So people doesn't have knowledge about this. They're just doing for the sake of it. For example, this is my 30th birthday. I want to release 30 lives today, no matter what it is. So they do the mixed collection of like eel, turtle, frog, right? Fishes, snail together, right? For example. Then they just dump in the pond, in the temple. So you think what's going to survive?
Yeah.
It's very less chance of survival there because firstly, they're not in their own habitat. There's no food for them. You just release and dump in the water and thinking, they live in the water and they will, try to find a way to survive. And then you hope for the best because you feel like, okay, I'm done my part. I'm doing the making merit thing. Yeah, I release animal already. Then you go home, right? And, and feel like, oh, you have done good things. But actually, if you think of the consequence, it's not like that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you commit more bad deeds than good deeds doing that. So for me, because this culture is still going on, right? The proper way to do that we can do is that you can go to the wet market because in Asian we have a lot of wet market, right? Where you can buy fresh fishes, right? And crab and snail and a lot of things. And they in like a captivity, right? And they've been about to slaughter them on the side, right? They just kill you. They just kill them on the side.
Yep.
Right? They have that kind of service, which is very cruel. So, if you are a spiritual person, you will know that those animals need help, right? Because the next minute will be, the end of their life there. So therefore, instead to go to the convenient merit shop, in the temple, you can instead go to this wet market, right? And try to find the strong one, like whatever it is, fish, right? Snail or turtles, frog, right? You try to find the strong one and please study where you can actually release them. And how about food? How about the chance of survival after you release them in the wild? that you make a true merit act. And like anything, we now humans are more intelligent. We evolving now. You should do everything with understanding, and please educate yourself. Then the merit that you have done will come back to you in someday that you need help. The same as those poor animals.
Okay.
There's a story. I will tell you a nice story. This
Sure.
is happened in Kenya. There's a man called Patrick Marua, yeah. And this Patrick Marua, he's around in early 40 now. He's around 40 something years old.
Okay.
He said, because he lived in Kenya, he saw a lot of suffering of animals when the drought season comes, when the peak summer comes. The rain will stop falling for 4 months. So a lot of animals, such as elephant, zebra, buffalo, deer, ostrich, in that area will die because of lack of water. So all the body of water, or the lakes, or the river will dry up within that 4 months. So he have very compassionate heart, and he want to help those animals. So when he grow up, when he properly earning his own money, he put the money aside. He brought a second-hand water truck. So every day during this summertime, he would go to the lake to pump up the water and drive the water truck to a particular place where it used to be the lake, because all the animals will collect around there. So he tried to release those water slowly to make a small lake for animals to come and drink all the water. So this become a habit of animals later on. So when they see the blue water truck approaching, so they start to collect in group in different species and waiting for the water. And each of trip, because from nearby lake to this animal habitat zone is around 70 kilometer distance.
Oh.
So each trip he will have to pay, from his own expense. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that if you want to do merit, if you want to do things from your compassionate heart, then you can be like this man. He tried to find solution and help the animal, the whole forest. He helped them, not just like small life. He helped like all the group and saved the species. And he did this, selflessly. So therefore, the merit that he received is immensely. After that, government recognized him, and government helped funding for this project, and even give him reward. So I think if you do, it's not if you do the merit, making merit or animal release or helping animal like this. It's not necessary doing in the temple. You can do outside the temple, everywhere that you see animals need help. 2 months ago in Thailand, there are very famous story of a man that he just going outside. He went outside the house. He tried to buy something from the local shop.
Okay.
Then on the footpath, he stepped on a cockroach. Yeah, and he feels so sorry and so shocked for that cockroach, right? And then he just picked the poor cockroach up and drive it to the local animal hospital. Can you believe that? He saved a cockroach.
Wow.
And then the vet, the doctor, he found that, oh, in my lifetime, I never see such case, right? So he just thinking like, oh, I should put this on social media. So overnight, this story, become very famous. People just, like want to know why this man just tried to save a cockroach,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the doctor said that, oh, I don't know, but he didn't want to say his name in the public. He want to remain discreet, right? And finally, the doctor be able to save the cockroach by put the cockroach in the oxygen chamber,
I see.
right? And it just recover from the shock. And the next day, it just being all right again. So the man came to the hospital willing to pay for this case. But the doctor said, no, you already make my hospital, animal hospital, very famous overnight. I won't charge you anything. And the doctor said, you are just like a living bodhisattva. In my life, I never heard of this before. You have really good heart. So therefore, I won't charge for anything. But the doctor also asked, do you want to, put your name there? Because people really interest, about what you are doing, right? He said, no, I'm not done this for fame or gain. I'm just doing this because I feel sorry for the cockroach, and I feel because of me, it get injured, right? So I feel in my heart I should immediately do something because I feel sorry, I feel guilty. So he didn't, think of himself. So this is like a selfless act. So definitely he gained a lot of merit from this. Just saving a cockroach, right?
Yeah. It's an insect.
But
Yep.
But in the society, there's good people and bad people, right? Half of the people comment like, oh, he's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell his name? I will go to his house to, to donate my cockroaches at home, right? There's such people. But the good people side say like, oh my God, you are just like a living bodhisattva, right? You have compassionate heart. You walk the footsteps of the Buddha, You are a really good example. You just make me think, that I should have compassionate for all, not just fishes, not just birds, not just what, in the scripture that we should release in the temple. We can make good act. We can make merit everywhere. When the circumstance comes, whatever in front of us, we should act kindly and compassionately. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking about compassion and kind act, let's move to another, I would say, relatable point, especially on the topic of animal captivity. So, what about like some of us who keep pets? Keep animals as pets. First, are they considered, captive animals? And will you inherit, like for example, karma if you keep pets? I'm talking about some people have exotic pets, right? They keep maybe an endangered species of a cat, for example, or a dog. Will you inherit karma based on that? And is it advisable for you to release pets, your pets that you have right now, for example, your goldfish or your pet turtle, as an act to cleanse your sins and bring back the good karma that you probably have lost while keeping them as pets. So what's your opinion on this?
Mhm. So for pets, according to Supreme Master Ching Hai, he said that our pets, especially the one that we have to take care of them, love them, and provide comfort and food to them. They are our relatives that coming back. But because they not have enough merit to become a human just like us, so they take different forms, but they try to come into our life, being as our pets. So we should take care of them like our family member. But sometimes people just thinking animal just animal, right? Then we just captive them, put them in a cage. For example, you have a exotic bird, exotic parrot, right, at home. You just put them in a cage, right? Thinking like, oh, okay, I just want to look at them. They are pretty. They're just like decoration in my home. But because they are living things, they have feelings at some point, they're not like strong like human, but they can understand the feeling. They can understand how we treat them. So Supreme Master said that, no cage is fit. No cage is fit for any animal. Meaning that, if you have pets, you should not encage them. You should not put them in the cage. They should be able to have freedom, right? Within your home, within your land. And you take care of them as your family member, as your brother and sister in the home, until they reach their old age or sickness and die, right? Because she said that sometimes it can be your grandparents, sometimes it can be your children from the past, sometimes can be your friends. So you just don't know because they cannot speak, right? And because you don't have that kind of wisdom to know who they are previously. So we should treat everybody with good heart, with kindness, with compassion, the same.
Okay. On this topic, what about, like, some people, they have a very good heart. They go out in the streets, they find like stray dogs or stray cats, and then they keep these cats and take care of them. Will you also say that this will in turn like give you good merit versus releasing animals, like in the first example that we brought up in the first part of the talk?
Okay.
This is the reverse.
If the act like that make you become like an animal activist, sometimes I would say that people take the compassionate point so far, too far, right? Sometimes you can have a financial difficulty, you can have disagreement in a family because you're doing this. I would say that, anything happen according to karma. Whatever in front of you in a moment that you see in front of you, you happen to see that this animal need help, or they actually come to you to seek help, your help the best you can. But you can't just, start to adopt the stray cat or dog from the whole town and thinking that, oh, this is your responsibility to take care of all of them. So you take the compassionate concept too far. It's okay, but it can cause problem for you on the in the other way. You understand?
Yeah.
So it boils down at the end of the day is the 5 precepts that you have to keep and try to make it balanced, right? You, for example, you keep the first precept, which is, don't hurt, don't kill animal, right? You keep that first precept, but if you lie to your family member, to help them, to borrow their money, right, and not telling them what it is, what for, right, then you violate other precepts. The deduction of merit is there because, yes, you keep one precept really good, but you just violate another precept. Being human, and in order to make it successful human life, you should be able to elevate yourself inside. You should be able to raise your consciousness up to the next level. So it is very important to keep the basic precepts. In whatever religion you are, just try to be a good human being in every element. For example, for the people who still release the animal in the temple, or even, help animal in need, if they still consume animal, meaning still eat animal, then, they gain merit in one hand and lose merit in other hand because they encourage the killing industry of animal industry, right, going on. Because the animal, when they are being farming for human food, humans just treat them like food, like a piece of living meat. So sometimes, for example, chicken will be captive in a warehouse, in a chicken farmhouse. They didn't see the sun, the moon, or nothing. They just live among thousands, millions of chicken, and being injected with all kind of hormones for them to grow up quickly. And also, they're gonna be taken to the slaughterhouse as well. So in spiritual sense, these animals, when they're unhappy, they send very bad energy to the world. And also inside them, when they feel upset, they cursing people. It's a say in Buddhism that when animal gonna die, you about to slaughter them, to kill them, they curse your 7th generation. They actually look at you and cursing everybody that gonna benefit from their body. Let's say you not kill them directly, but they still curse the one that eventually eat their meat. Because, a crime is a crime, whether you commit it or not. If you in it and benefit from this crime, then the bad karma is upon you. And the more you collect this, the more sickness you have in your body, because your body become the graveyard of these animals. And they're not happy to die for you. Nobody wants to lay down their life to be other people's food. They're not born to be our food. They're born to be our friend, for us to learn to be a proper human being in this world. So for anyone that, still make their stomach become graveyard, they will have very heavy energy around them because of this curse. And also, all of the hormone injection all of these unnatural way of raising all the animal to be food will eventually affect your body. So eventually it will become sickness or cancer in some part of the body, because this is unnatural food. Human not make to eat animal. We are plant eater. We should eat plant-based food, meaning all the grains, fruits, and fresh vegetables. Because we violate these natural body of us, then it becomes sickness. The reason I say that we are plant-based eater as human, because look at our teeth. Do we have sharp teeth like tiger? Right? And our intestine, we have very long intestine, like buffalo, like elephant. This is designed to digest plant. It's not designed to digest meat. When you put meat in these long intestines, then it creates toxin gas in your stomach. And the longer you heavily consume the meat, being chicken, cow, pig, whatever, seafood, then it will create sickness in your intestines. So nowadays, there's a lot of cancer, causing by that. Because we can't digest this properly. We're not built to digest this heavy meat. We built to digest light food, like vegetables and fruit. So nowadays, we just been blindfolded with this multi-billion industry of animal products, animal meat, and even cow milk. We just, like me, growing up, the school will tell me like, oh, you should drink milk. Then, you're going to have strong bones. But since I was very young, I'm allergic to cow milk. I didn't know why, but they found solution later that I should take soy milk. So, growing up, I have soy milk. I didn't have cow milk because there's something in them make me have upset stomach. So when I become more, when I have more wisdom, when I become spiritual practitioner, I found out that, we're not supposed to eat animal products because we're not built for that. No wonder, humans easily get upset, angry, right? Because they have sickness inside them. They have very bad energy because they have their graveyard that they carry with them. So those kind of humans that act like a meat eater, so they aggressive like tiger, right? So they aggressive like predator. Why? Because it's unnatural food for them and it upset them. And the more you eat meat, then it also reduces your lifespan as well. Humans used to be able to live for 100 years easily in the community where they are vegetarian. But nowadays, because we live in the city, and and we get to push into this popular culture of eating meat and thinking that, meat is full of protein, meat is good for you, right? Listen, that we know that actually the protein from the animal is come from grain, come from what they eat as a plant-based diet, and it's transferred into the body of the animal. So when we take the meat of the animal, then yes, we eat part of that protein. But it's not 100% good protein for you, because it's have a lot of chemical hormone injection in that as well. And yes, if somebody come to me said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna turn to eat organic meat," meaning okay, they just raise the animal in particular way that is natural, right? And they eat the meat of those animals. But still, what about the curse? You know, before they die, that they curse your 7th generation, right? Can you remove that curse? If it's me, if somebody come and try to take my life away just because they want to eat my meat, yeah, then I will have bad heart and cursing them as well, because it is unfair act to me, right? Everybody that have life, they love their life, they love their circumstance, they love their family, right? They have their brother and sister, father and mother, just like us. And you know, when you take animal from their family, they already cursing you, right? Because they feel threatening, they feel suffering. Their consciousness is not high like human, but they feel at a certain level that they can recognize who is who killing them, who eating them. They recognize it. And they're still hanging around, try to curse you even after they're dead in the spirit form, because they die prematurely. For example, if a pig supposed to live for 10 years, and on the 3rd year, it gets slaughtered, it gets killed, right, and sell the meat in the market. Then the pig spirit will come and haunt it, the one that killed, the one that earned money from this killing, meaning, you know, the owner of the farm. Even haunted the seller, the one that sell his meat, and also gonna come as a ghost hanging around the one that consumed his body part until the time is up for the next 7 years. Let's say if it's like that. So that's already one spirit, you know, like try to harm you, that hanging around without you know. So in each day, for the people that love eating meat, how many lives that they take? And can we live a life where we're not taking other people's life? It is possible for human beings to live a plant-based and organic life, from eating vegetable, fruit, grains. You know, we can eat all of that because we can have good protein, we can have good vitamin from the vegetables. So we're not lacking of anything. There's many studies about this. So whoever listen to me now and want to change, please change. And we are more than happy to support you, to send you more information about this. And according to Perfect Living Master, that they are my master, they always said that, you know, we should eat light food in order to progress on our spiritual practice. We should eat plant-based food in order to raise your attention up to your wisdom eye center. Because if your body is still a graveyard, can you raise your energy up to your wisdom eye center? It's nearly too impossible to do that. And I'm saying today, I didn't mean that I gonna, say that people that eating animal and love meat is bad. No, it's their karma that they decide to be that way. But if you want to raise above this karmic life and seeking for the truth for yourself, seeking the way out of your own suffering, please consider to eat more plant-based food and eventually embrace the plant-based diet in your life fully. So you will see the immense benefit within 3 months, I guarantee. That, you will become more lucky, more prosperous, less sickness, and feel light, and your mind will actually become clearer. Just to, change your diet.
Okay, so with regards to the sellers that sell these animals only to be released for from captivity, are these sellers inheriting the karma because they are actually profiting out of the suffering of these animals in captivity and they're making a business out of it? What's your take on this?
Yeah. In spirit world, right? And say like from astral level, when the animal be in captivity like that, being taken away from their natural habitat, they already, start cursing 7 generations. So the cursing is also on the seller as well. And then the more they sell the animal, the more accumulation of curse they're collecting in their family as well. If it is a family business, let's say, or if, let's say, the father and the mother earn the money from this business. So even the children didn't know anything about this, but they use that money to live in their daily life, to go to school, to eat each meal. They also inherit those kind of karma. After that, some accidents might happen in a family, some sickness might happen in a family, or someone in the family will even have to be like having a bedridden sickness. Because according to one monk, the monk that try to say to the seller, please don't do this in the temple anymore, this is not good. The monk said that the animal have been kept in very poor condition. They're not being fed properly, and they're not being being put into a proper water for them, or there's nothing in it. It's like somebody take you away from your family, right? And try to put you in a box for a very long time without food or anything else, right? If you think like that from human perspective, that is very bad. So mostly the monk said that the animal wouldn't survive in the nature because they will have to adopt, right? And mostly where people go to release these fish in the river or a pond, those river and pond and at this particular area will be very crowded. So when you release them right away, they get eaten up by other things. You understand? Because they are weak. You just basically try to feed existing fish in the pond, or other things, and thinking, oh, I have merit, I saved their life. But it's not like that. There's a lot of cases where they release the frog in the river. So frog have to live in still water, right? And they love to live in a pond-like environment. So when you release the frog in the river, for example, most of the case they just getting drowned and die. So I don't think that these sellers they've been educated that what's supposed to be done, or what you're supposed to sell or not to sell, because they're not educate themselves like that. So they brought all kind of animals mixing in one bowl and try to sell you as the package. Like, oh, this is like a nice species together. You get really lucky. If you release them all today, they will try to sell it like that. So online, there's one video about a man. He just asked the seller, okay, auntie, what is the benefit if I release these fishes today? And the auntie started to say, oh, you're going to have longevity, you're going to have better life, you're going to be more prosperous, right? And you're going to become lucky. And he said, if so, auntie, why you not release all of this yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only
sense.
logical, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's move on to another, more relatable topic. For example, if you have a family business that involves animal in captivity, for example, like the cow milk farms, where you have a herd of cows, and you get their milk as a business. Then you sell their milk afterwards. But these animals are still in captivity. What's the implication of that business? What's the karmic actions that is impacted to the owners?
Funnily, in the family that doing the business of cow milk, mostly they will have some kind of bone diseases, or some kind of bone breaking accident because of the karma. What happened is that the cow milk industry will have to pump the milk from mother cow, right? So they have to make the cow pregnant. And then when the cow gives birth to the baby, they take the baby away from the mother. And also this baby eventually becomes steak, like cow steak that people eat nowadays. And the mother will be locked in one position and have the machine tied to her boob, to milking her day and night, because they have to do it when the mother produce the milk for the baby, right? And then, in some of the documentaries, they even show that the mother gets ex-hunted, where the point that she cannot stand anymore because it's too much for a pregnant lady that just have a baby, right? And then the baby been taken away, and she have to stand there all day, all night after giving birth. Do you think this is a fairness? Do you think that is that good to do that? No, this is, a bad karmic act of the milk industry. So, for example, perfect living master in the past still allow their disciples to have cow milk or goat milk only because in ancient India they really respect the cow. They're not industrial like the cow milk like today. They just have the milk after the baby cow having the milk from the mother. So whatever left over, they just ask the cow kindly to give them milk. But nowadays, with the commercial world, people want to become rich. right, by doing this milk farm. So they invent the machine. So they invent the system to maximize their profit. So there's no morality at all of raising the cow or take the milk from the cow. So now, perfect living master in the world right now, they start to encourage their disciples to become vegan because they realize that the milk industry is not good. As now, perfect living master have international disciple now. So they go everywhere in the world to do lectures. So they export to another culture and found out that the cow outside India has been treated very bad in the milk industry. For example, when I went to Babaji National Satsang, all the food that served there are vegan nowadays. Only tea have some kind of milk, but I'm sure that the change will come where perfect living master will encourage their disciple, the new generation, to turn to be more vegan instead of vegetarian that vegetarian with cow milk.
That's it for today's satsang. Thank you, guest speaker, for spending time with us for this satsang. If you want more information about Easter Asia, please go to www.easterasia.com. You can also subscribe to our newsletter and email us any inquiries you may have regarding spirituality. Thank you for listening.